Thanks for staying with us now. As I mentioned earlier, last week Milolar took a story of a JSS1 pupil who claimed to have been picked out during her school assembly and was given 20 lashes over a hairstyle they had called indecent in Ekiti State, and she was suing the government. Also, sadly, another incident happened in Kwali in Kuje area of the Federal Capital Territory, where a 13-year-old boy died after allegedly being punished by his teacher, who flogged the boy for failing to do his homework. Now, the concept of teacher-student discipline is what we're asking today, and we're asking, where do we draw the line, and what should be a fair balance when it comes to child discipline? I mean, because we see some of these things almost going overboard and the extreme. And again, when when they say spare the rod, spoil the child, at some point people will also argue that the children become unruly. So where is that fair balance, and where do we draw the line when it comes to child discipline? Now let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So I don't know who I'm going to start with now.
You can start with you.
You know how last week you were arguing with me about that student saying that it was wrong for her to sue the...
I actually just saw the child now, and I saw the hairstyle. That was the first time I've seen the hairstyle.
Me, I didn't even need to see the hairstyle. I'm saying that you can't just, sometimes a lot of teachers, they act inappropriately. And because we are in a society where the culture says you do not question someone supposedly in authority, then we have allowed so many things happen under our noses. Now, this young boy now that has passed, right? Could there have been a better way that teacher would have handled him not turning over his homework?
I mean,
let me come to you, Uti.
First things first, it's just inhumane. This story, reading it, I was saddened, because the story starts off with the fact that the child was actually ill.
Yes.
And he couldn't receive treatment because he hadn't eaten. And then has to go back to class and proceeds to be hit on the head. Now, I was in two mindsets about this story, both stories, in fact. I also hadn't seen the haircut, but I did wonder what type of haircut it was, because culturally, over time, we have evolved. Now, certain parts of education have evolved faster than other parts. So it's almost unheard of today in most private schools that a teacher will touch a child. It's almost unheard of. But that being said, I went to a private school as a child, and yes, we were flogged. Yes, we were disciplined. This is like in my day, they come to you, they stick a, JS3, everybody's trying to hold on to that hair. They stick a pencil in it, and next day is scissors. Then they send you home, or the barber comes to school and cuts the hair.
Your hair being cut while you were in school.
So discipline culturally has been handled very differently from what we have today. Today, in certain parts, parents have taken a different approach. It's very common these days to hear parents say they don't smack. But we all have seen the memes of our moms and slippers, and I'm sure all of us at our age, if you ask us, we all have that story.
My mother would just draw her leg on the ground. We know the meaning.
Exactly. You had
the signaling.
It's a sign.
You had the look that told you when you get home, we will finish this. You had the special slippers. You had the cane.
The twisting of the heel.
Yes, so we all had that. But again, as we say all of this, even in school, I had a teacher that my entire time in secondary school, the man was short, his cane came up to his waist, so he used it as a walking stick. Wow. So as he's walking, he's like this. This was how he used to do it. You greet him here, and he continues with his cane. So it wasn't unusual for me when I first read this story, because I had experienced it. Sure. Normally, they will call a hairstyle. Yeah, they'll call a hairstyle, and that's what everybody should do, or there were things. But I come back to the inhumanity of the boy, the one that died. For the little girl, for me, having seen the hairstyle, I don't know what the school's rules are, and I don't know where she was flogged, because being flogged 20 lashes, if you went to school in my time, that's BAU. So it kind of was different for me because I was trying to understand, okay, she's obviously broken some rules. What are the set rules in the school? If that is the normal means of punishment in the school, we all had assembly, you land up assembly, you do something wrong, they come, they do the name and shame, you stand up on the podium, then, they flog you. So I kind of thought, okay, so that means culturally, we've moved to the point now where the expectation is that teacher, don't touch my child, which is fair if we have defined the rules. If we have defined the rules that says, this is the acceptable hair, this is how we discipline, then she may not have a case.
Okay, so let me bring this hairstyle first before I talk about the other one. When my children are going to school, there's a specific haircut that they have to have. Has to be low, nothing like high, whatever. So what the school does is that they have told you from day one, this is the acceptable haircut. When you bring your child into the school, they won't argue. They won't flog the child.
They send them.
Once you have left, they call their own barber. Sit down. They cut the hair.
And have the hair.
So, and the way the barbers cut the hair, trust me, it's not a pretty sight. So you as a mother, after it happened to us the first resumption of my older son, after when they are just going back to school, I say, you already know the wahala in your school. Just who cut the appropriate hairstyle, and that's what we have been doing all the years. So I do not understand why you need to flog the child. So no matter what it is, Uti, the girl hasn't even done anything. She's just had a wrong haircut. That wrong haircut, you can blame it on the parents, you can blame it on a lot of things. Or you can call the parents and say, you know what, this child has to go back. Why do you think the king will solve the problem of her hairstyle? That is my problem.
No, I do not think that caning the child is the problem. Caning the child excessively is where I think we should draw the line. It's not out of place for us to get caned as children when we're in school. I remember vividly flouting an instruction of don't buy stuff outside of a gate. This is my own personal experience, and I got caned. And why did I missed the assembly? Because I was in the lab and I didn't get the news. I didn't get the memo. But it doesn't matter. I was caught buying stuff outside of the gate. That was disobeying the headmistress's order, and then I got caned for that. Did I feel like I've been dealt a bad hand? No, this is natural. This is normal. This is how we were raised, and this is how we were disciplined.
And how did we turn out?
No. I think
what's wrong with how you turned out?
I'm just asking.
There's nothing wrong with caning kids. It's the excessiveness in it that is a bit extreme. And this is one thing you have to notice with abuse. The way men abuse women is the same way teachers tend to abuse their student. The moment you get used to flogging a child and the child cries so much, there's some kind of satisfaction that you derive from that makes you not stop.
Yeah.
This is where we need to find the fine balance. And I think because we can't really say it's 2 strokes or 5 strokes that is appropriate, is why the modern school says do not touch a child, rather report the child. Now, looking at that particular child, that girl is a small girl. I didn't even see the video. So you can't hold that child responsible for that hairstyle. You need to call the parents and address the concern, or send the child back to school to go and tell the parent, back home rather, to go and tell the parent why she was asked to leave school. So I think for me, that was a bit extreme. We need to understand the entire picture. I haven't seen this little girl. This girl cannot be more than 10, 11-year-old. You can't
even think she's that
old. She's not even up to that.
Do you understand? This is the mother's or her father's or her auntie's sense of style. And you can't and that child that was killed is really, really touching, that child was beaten to the point where he had to die. I think that that school should be the one to be sued, not this one for killing this child.
So the dialogue for me with this little girl with the hair, again, the school, how do they normally discipline? Because it's one thing, like we said, schools today will make a decision and say, you know what, we don't touch children here. We have a way for disciplining. Now, was she singled out and disciplined in a way that is contrary or unusual for the school? Because if you have normally, this thing that you're saying is the responsibility of the child.
The parent.
It's the responsibility of the parent. What about those schools where the children are punished because they haven't paid school fees? You see the children kneeling down at the gate. Why? Because they haven't paid school fees. Meanwhile, some schools will take the approach.
Are they going to go and beat the mother?
Do you get what I mean?
Or is it the child that gets to get punished?
To pay the school fees? Even when children come late. Again,
Who's
you're
to be
punishing the
paid?
school fees.
Is the student
You're
get
punishing the
paid?
child. Who is the one that, like, who's bringing them to school? What's the
Late.
story? There's so many things around it. So there are separate issues. Is it wrong that she was flogged 20 lashes? Yes, maybe. It's
extreme.
I can't accept whether that. So if that is a standard in their school, that standard has to stop.
So that's where
So
I'm
you
saying.
are for the motion
So
that
come-
caning a child, even if it's 2 strokes of cane, it is totally unacceptable.
No, I loved what you said, that they shouldn't be excessive.
Yes.
You understand? You should draw the line. 1 or 2 strokes. You understand? You know, I'm teachers. You know me. I'm talking from. I'm a very stubborn person. So
How many
I want to
strokes
show
of
you.
How many
The
hints?
funny thing is that in school, I never got, apart from the experience I shared where I said a principal flogged me and my hand got poked. I didn't used to get into trouble because I know how stubborn. My heart is very strong. Even my mother used to say, "This your heart is too strong." I would make sure that I do not shed a tear. And I have seen teachers that will say,
Until you
so
cry.
you are strong, Abi, I will show you. And they will flog you.
I think
and
that's
flog you.
when abuse.
Do you get my point?
is-
So that's why I'm saying that do not even go, because teachers find, like you rightly said, teachers find satisfaction
in caning.
when they cane you and you begin to sob. They've said it several times, and you have to go and carry. You know how many bomb lashes we received in school. The punishment that I received in school were the ones that were like general punishment. It's not like I specifically did something, you know. So my point is the structure of the school.
Now you're coming to where I am coming
I
to.
do not subscribe to that kind of structure.
Because-
Why would you beat a child 20 lashes because she had a wrong haircut?
You are very, very anti-caning.
No.
And I think that we need to just make sure there's a balance. Now, if you are a caning mother, you would understand why.
It's like you're a caning mother.
No, why caning a child can be excessively done and can be abused. When you're angry and you raise your hand, I cane my kids. I'm not a mom who says just dialogue. I don't think that dialogue works. I was not raised with just dialogue. A bit of caning is critical, and the only one I get to cane more is my second daughter, and she's very, very much like me. She's the one that gets caned more time. Now, when you start to cane a child, you are upset and you're angry. You may intend to do just 2 lashes, but when you think about the intensity of the behavior, you go extra board. You have to have self-control. 1, to not abuse your child. 2, to not do it to an extent when, after you finish caning that child, even you repent of that deed. This is usually what happens in school. But because there is no emotional attachment between teachers and their student per se, and if you look at these schools, you see that they are predominant among government schools, not private schools. So it sort of is allowed where the principal or a particular, and you would notice in schools that they do a lot of this kind of caning, there's a particular teacher that is assigned those special tasks of extra flogging. I remember in my own secondary school, there was a particular man that has to cane you. And the more you can dust his cane, the more strong you become. And I had to dust that cane. And I remember when a friend of mine saw me in uni, way back after some years after, I said, I remember you because you dusted the cane. I mean, that's something.
It was a thing of pride.
Yes, that's
Okay.
something you get.
How many canes did you dust?
So, I mean, I didn't like the cane. I mean, my situation was a bit unique because my mom wasn't a caning mom. My mom literally was, they give you the look and there's the silence. My mom was like psychological torture. Like when my mom is shouting, she's not upset. When she's quiet,
then you
better start praying. So I was used to that, but my sister made up for it. The compensation, my sister beat the death out of me, beat the Holy Spirit into me, like literally. But the thing of it is, I've come to realize, you know, as you yourself become a parent, you come to realize that, you know, do I cane my child? Not all the time, but every once in a while you need to shock them little people. They need to go, whoa, what did mom just do? Like, let's dialogue, let's stand in the corner. But every once in a while, you know, you need to shock. I don't believe in making it commonplace because I think that with the way kids are raised today, it's when it happened to us, it was so commonplace that it wasn't unique. But with our kids today, because it's not unique, when you do it, it starts to, because it's more unique, let me put it that way, it's not as common. It sends different messages to kids. So that whole idea of mommy hit me, so it's okay when my friend upsets me for me to hit my friend. There are different signals that it sends today because culturally we're moving away from it, which is why I said the culture in the school, for me, is what we attack. So the fact is, there should be a rule in schools that says you cannot cane. It is a decision a parent will make. I can't have, as a parent, decided that I'm going to raise my child without the cane, and then they come to your school and you choose to raise the cane. So it is important that every parent, when you put your child in a school, have conversations about how children are disciplined. Have conversations about what the rules are, what the policy is, so that you understand, so that if it is not for you, then you don't put your child in that school. Because you know, if you're going to wake up tomorrow and sue for 15 million because of a haircut, because your child was flogged.
That child was not the one that did the suing, evidently.
Well,
it was someone else who had to instigate that action. But you would notice also that this caning and flogging is predominant amongst a particular school. You would hardly find excessive caning. The best they do, they send you to the naughty corner. They make you serve punishment, but they will hardly cane.
Okay, you know what? Let's take a break, because in all of these things that we're saying, where is the place where you understand your child? Because my children, flogging doesn't work. My son just needs to hear me say, I am disappointed in you. And the kind of cry he will cry. You would think that I threw a bag of cement on his head.
Yeah, well, but you understand. You understanding your child.
To raise them, and then you have to understand the age that these kids are in.
No, it's not about age. This thing started from when he was a baby.
So when you understand
let's take a break. When we come back, because we need to open our phone lines.
How many kids are in that school?
Thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and we're asking what should be a suitable corrective measure, you know, for students when you want to correct them in school, and where should we draw the line with teachers and their disciplinary actions or measures that they take in school. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone line is also now open, so please call us on 07025007749. The number is 07025007749. Please, when you call, do ensure you turn off the volume of your television set and try to keep your conversation within a minute so we can have a lot more people contribute. So it's not like I'm against people flogging, right? I'm saying that all the flogging and the dusting of the cane, who did it help? You're talking about government schools, right? I'll tell you my younger sister's story. Government schools. I told you guys of a school that I was supposed to serve in Lagos. When I got there, I was having my son was still a baby with me. And the principal, the first rule she gave me that do not talk back at the children if they whatever, do not flog them, do not do this. It's a government school, somewhere in Ifako. A government school. And she said, because if you try it, by the time you come out from the class, they've slashed all your 4 tires in your car. They would have used whatever. Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So it's the fear of the students.
It's the fear of the students.
That is another one.
Wait, now let me even finish. So it's not even about saying, oh, you are flogging them to discipline. You are even afraid for your life as a teacher, because if you dare touch them,
that's even,
you know, so that's one
is even for me.
One corner. I remember growing up, right? My mother would always shield my younger sister. Always shield her. Me and Faith. One day the thing entered our blood like this. We now waited for my mother to go. Oh my God. Oh my God.
On her.
After that day, you know the pipe that they used to hose, used to water plants. We tied everything. We gave her the beating of her life.
Why? To what purpose?
She was too spoiled as far as we're concerned. But do you know what she used to say still today, that beating was what has knocked in the Holy Spirit into her.
So you understand that caning does have a reset button. It's very important.
Kennedy, are you there? Oh, sugar. I don't think I can hear you. Kennedy, you need to turn off the volume of your TV set. Yeah. I can't hear you. So, you see, that thing actually does reset. But you see, that kind of flogging, So,
that was sister abuse.
That was very risky for us.
Very jealous.
You know, I say that it's very risky. Years later, we found out that my sister had some health conditions. What if
She had died.
Why is
Jonathan.
But
No.
we're talking. No,
So
no, no.
we are going
There
back
are
to the
so
child
many
that
things.
died.
Whatever you did
What
as a
if-
child with your sister is out of jealousy, out of
It's not jealousy.
and out of being children. Really, there's so many things that you can do. Siblings hit each other.
No, it's not that.
do
I will
not
tell
think-
you, it's not jealousy. But
It
Peter,
was
are
more-
you there? It wasn't jealousy. Peter, are you there?
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Peter. Are you there? Let's hear what you have
Yeah,
to
I
say.
can hear you. I
Go
can hear
ahead.
you. Yeah, good evening, ladies.
Hi, good evening. Let's hear what you have to say.
Oh, please hold your Holy Spirit. You almost fell from my chair just now when you were saying about the Holy Spirit. But first thing first, I just feel the only drawback I have this evening is that a proprietor or a proprietress should have been among the panel of private schools because the modern parents are too weak. I went to Unity School, Federal Government College, Bury. It was a policy then. You don't flog us, but we're disciplined. Respected our seniors. When we get home, we know our boundaries. But now, the modern parents, it's a psychological war we have with these kids now. They know when to cry. They know when to tell you, Mommy, I'm sorry. We must know when to discipline a child,
Yeah.
know when to advise a child, and know when to psychologically throw the balance on them. Because I don't see why a child should go to a school with that kind of haircut. It shows the kind of parent or the kind of home that child is coming from. You cannot give what you don't have. If you raise a child well, a child will not go to school with that kind of haircut. And if there's a proper policy from every private school or even government schools that this is when you flog a child, this is when you give a corporal punishment, and this is when you send a child home, we will not have all this kind of problem. But for me, to summarize my point is that it's a psychological war. The modern parents now you must pray more, know when to beat a child, and know when to talk to a child.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I love Peter's submission. Hey, parents these days do need to be stricter.
I agree.
Do. You go out and you see kids and you're like, boy, just give me 2 minutes. Let's just go around the corner for 2 minutes. We'll sort it out. You know, I don't have time.
We went to London. My sister's son. He just started. If you see the way I held his hand, first of all, he ran away. You know how you hold a child's hand, you be feeling the grip. I held it. I said,
Because you
God,
cannot spank
help
a
me
child.
today. Because you can't spank the child.
Why don't you
By the
try
time I
it?
carried the child to the toilet, give him the
bomb, fast reset.
There are some reset flogging.
It's always necessary.
But you see, as a teacher, you have to be careful. Because here now, it's 2 cases. One is suing because she's alive
One
to
is
sue.
dead.
And one is dead. You know, so I was trying to say that health conditions, you do not know this because you are looking all prim and
Nicely
proper.
put together.
That's why even they advise adults do not fight on the street, because you go and give somebody one blow like this,
And again,
and the
not
person
very
is
good.
dead,
Yeah.
and tomorrow you are going to jail.
Yeah.
You know, so it's I think it is just flogging for me should be the least resort. Like you have tried every other thing, and this is, but now people take it as the first measure of discipline. There are other measures of discipline.
it's easier for teachers to do it. One, they have to exert authority. Two, they do not have the mental strength to take a child through proper discipline without caning. So they usually resort to caning. And if you like, I always go back to the same thing. The real schools that have been trained, in the school where the teachers have been trained and they have a code of conduct, they do not raise their hand and eat a child. This kind of abuse, it's just so funny that a child went to a school with that kind of hair and then they resort to
From the
suing.
gate, you just send the child out.
And they resort to suing. It just shows the kind of home, just like Peter said, it shows the kind of home the
that
child
she's
comes
coming
from.
from. Let me take Kennedy. Thank you again for calling from Jalingo.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Go ahead, you're live. We can hear you.
All right, thank you so much. I can remember vividly when we were growing up. There's a way your parents will actually talk to you. There's a way they will look at you are wrong, and you actually maintain that standard. But the kids of this age, especially in this kind of world that we have are actually very stubborn. But I think charity is not approved. I'm not in support of any steps like get somebody's kid flogged, because the services that is supposed to be rendered in school, like discipline them and put them at the right order. But these days, it's just kind of a crazy word. Thank you for always being a perfect topic. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Kennedy, and for always contributing from Jalingo. Yeah,
I agree. And I think that because raising a child is such a personal thing, I'm okay with Kenny. Milolar is okay with Kenny. You're not so okay with Kenny. So I have a way that I'm raising my child. There are responsibilities here for every party in this. Like I said before, the parents, you need to know the rules. You need to know the kind of school that you're sending your child to. Does it align with you? You have to make it clear that, look, don't touch my child. It's like I tell my nannies, I don't care what he does, just bring them to me.
Exactly. I will do more damage.
I will do the discipline. And they know that I'm not that kind of mother that when you bring him to me, I will say, just let it go.
Yeah.
We will address it so that next time when she tells you not to do it, you know that when you run to mommy, it's not going to end well. So you have to treat it in a way where the child is disciplined, but you are raising the child in the way, because it is your responsibility to raise your child. That thing you were saying about understanding the personality of the child and what works. I was the same. I don't like people talking to me anyhow, because I grew up with a mother that she would just speak to you. She'll stand here, speak to you. You over there won't hear what she's saying, and you'll be bawling your eyes out. So I don't like people talking to me. It touches my soul. I'd rather you slap me. I'd rather you beat me. But that was not it. So you understand your child. You know how you've been raising your child. So when you then find that you're putting your child out there into the world, you must be clear on what you want. The situation where we have that the child has died, that one is wrong. Like I said, inhumane in every single ramification, whether it is acceptable or not. Even if you're going to cane, I remember when I was...
you know what, Uti, hold on. Yeah, Austin, I think, is from Benin. Thank you for calling. Sorry for keeping you.
Good evening.
Hi, Austin. Thank you for calling.
Yeah. I think the problem lies with the parents of nowadays. Some of our parents, they over-pamper children to a level where the children become indisciplined. In Benin, last week, I saw a mother with her daughter. Less than 10-year-old girl. You need to see what this little girl was putting on. And I called the woman. I said, Madam, at this age, you allow your daughter to dress in this manner. Don't blame her when you start seeing something different in the future, you know? So it's the parents. Our parents, the kind of, our parents these days, they over-pamper their children. Then as for the flogging, I think the best thing to do is to invite, when you have a situation like that, the school should invite the parents rather than flog the child. Then finally, I want to appeal to the management of your station that this program should be 1 hour, 30 minutes. If they can make this program 1 hour, 30 minutes, we will appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then your friend on the left, who said men abuse, we know they abuse women, oh, madam. Real men don't abuse women.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you, Austin. I was saying, so the whole idea of the responsibilities that the different parties have, I think Austin has just said it, you know, there are different ways in which schools can do things and make sure that my child is dealt with in the right way. You can't take it away from you as a parent. And you know this thing about we saying today that parents are not raising their children. They're allowing the nannies do it. They're allowing the teachers, the schools, and everybody to do it. We need to own that. Then even in the schools, the teachers today, it is possible to discipline without caning.
Now, this thing you just said, there's a government school around Bega. I went there because I deal with schools a lot with children. You know what this woman does? She has warned all those boys, do not slim fit your trouser. don't wear pencil trouser to school. They know they hear. She not talk anything. The principal, as they are coming into the school like this, she just sees one leg of their shoe. one leg like that, one leg. And she tell them, go back home. When you are coming back, because of course you will need to break home and collect your shoe. You can't, so by the time they are coming back, she checks them, you know, that they are properly dressed. She gives them back their leg of their shoe and they will go to the classroom.
So when they've slim fit their trousers, how long do they have before they can fix
She doesn't care. She doesn't care. And guess what? She was telling me that strategy has been working for her because she's been talking to these boys. And do not slim fit your trousers, you know, and all of that. They wear funny looking trousers to school, right? And she told them, don't. They keep coming. You know, I said, no problem. One day, like, by the time she started doing that, everybody adjusted in the school. Everybody. But let me take Toby, then I'll come to you, Milolar. Okay. Toby, are you there from Abuja? Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I must say, first of all, that I'm really enjoying the program and it's really instructive and educative.
Thank you.
Yeah, so a couple of things that need to be put in place is the fact that the reason why a lot of people are toxic right now, you know, are aggressive, you know, are stubborn in their future life. You know, they are, you know, when someone talks to them, they're very angry. You know, they are very hard and harsh. And in fact, they get to continue for generations because they get passed on to their children, and it goes on like that. Matter of fact, their relationships are also very toxic. You know, a small, hey, why did you do this? Because it now rings a bell to their past of what they were flogged for. They get angry, and before you know it, the relationship is broken because they do not realize that it's a past psychological defect that they have as regards them being flogged or being disciplined in an aggressive way. Yeah, so flogging is kind of bad, but it's just that there's some things that you have to associate with pain. You know, you do something wrong, and you know this is wrong, but you need to flog this child so that the child understands that this is the result of doing this is pain. Psychologically, the child will not do that again. But the balance now is parents or the person that is flogging needs to you know, treat the child as a mature child and explain why the child is being disciplined. Because as much as you need to enforce physical pain, as measure physical pain, I must say, so that you're not torturing the child. Measure physical pain. You need to let the child know why he or she is being disciplined.
Thank you so much.
Now, I'll give you a personal example. My natural hair is wavy, it's curly. And then I was in school, I was in secondary school, and then my principal slapped me. Now, I can remember it like 32 years later, annoyingly. And it just made me hate a couple of things about people that claim to be in authority. And now I'm an ubermensch. What I mean is that I don't follow authority. Like, if you want to claim an authority, I just dislike you. Now, I understand that it's a psychological defect and it's bad, but that's how I am right now.
Very true.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think you hit the nail on here. And this was a story I was trying to explain to you when you took your story last week. My older sister had long hair. Her hair is natural. In fact, my dad never allowed her to relax her hair because her hair was naturally soft and extremely long. Do you understand? And she braided her hair to the front. You did not ask whether there was attachment or anything. You just took a scissors and you cut the hair. Why will I not sue that school?
The teacher was obviously jealous.
Just
checked very well. But it's abuse of power, and there's something that the last caller
Toby said,
very, very critical. Whatever form of abuse we've experienced as kids, we carry it on to our adulthood stage. A number of us exhibit violent tendencies because we were raised with abusive in a violent way. And it really, really goes to show the kind of economy we have in terms of our collective energy. Now, if you look at developed countries where we've started to imbibe their culture of dialogue, of punishment as against direct killing and inflicting pain on kids, you'd realize that they are more tender and more temperate in nature because they are not very hostile people because they've not experienced that kind of negative energy.
So shouting. But let me tell Charles for Port Harcourt, I should not shout.
Wow, you're such a character.
Charles, are you there? Thank you.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening. Quickly, let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, let me start by saying first that this program is very educative and always very informative. It's one of my favorite programs on DSTV.
Thank you.
But the thing is that I want to join someone that called before to say that it should be extended at least maybe by 1 hour or so. You have to first of all read your news and everything before you now start analyzing your own side. Now open the phone line, the time has gone. We don't even have enough time to so
and you have finished all your time. Oh yeah, go ahead quickly.
And please let me just make some correction. The other lady, is it Milolar also? Yes. She said something like men used to beat up women. Please, I beg, she should just withdraw that one back.
I take it back.
Thank you very much. I saw the haircut on the little girl that you showed on this thing. It's quite horrible. I don't know why. I don't know whether the girl is staying with her parents also, but I don't think any right-thinking parents will allow the daughter to go out with that kind of hairstyle. It's really horrible. And from school authority, I don't see any reason why they should flog somebody. If maybe, for instance, she comes to school with that kind of hairstyle,
send her
the best is to send her back home. I think that's my own take on it. Now, except about the issue about discipline or flogging child, I don't really believe so much about flogging children though. Like my own daughter, the second one, used to be very stubborn. So what I do is that anytime she does something, I will just say, I'll go and lock you up in the generator house. You see her behaving very well. She's always very afraid of that generator house. So even if you bring care, she will not even shake. But that generator house, she will behave.
You found a terrible.
Thank you so much, Charles. Oh my God, we really ran out of time. But you have 2 comments quickly.
First
That's Raphael
one.
Akoria.
Okay, first one from Raphael says, foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline drives it far from him. And that's from the Good Book. And the second one is from Ade, who says, good evening, ladies. Teachers that beat children unlawfully have an itching hand and should be sent to Sambiza to fight to beat terrorists. In this modern age, such students should be sent home rather than giving the school a bad name.
Please send them home.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Milolar. Thank you, Uti. I think we had an amazing conversation. So before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment. More importantly, we're planning a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the Ways brand and watching and following the conversation. So do follow us now. It's at PlusTvAfrica. Like, share, comment, and invite all your friends and family. So if you missed today's quote, here it is again. What is a teacher? I'll tell you. It isn't someone who teaches something, but someone who inspires the student to give of her best in order to discover what she already knows. Thank you so much to everyone that watched. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. Enjoy.